Laleli ndaba ngikutshele ngeyami impilo. Samana, guys. Today is Sunday, the 24th of August. Playing around on social media the past weekend, and like most of you guys have jumped into seeing the tweets around Ntando Duma. Ntando, I think that's her name, Duma, and her speaking on the Altido podcast. Is it called Altido podcast? I don't know what it is, but she's trending for the wrong reasons, unfortunately. I don't know Sisi. I don't know anything about Sisi, and I don't want to talk negatively about Sisi. I think she's married with a brother that is a musician called Una Rams. Yo, guys, I don't know pop culture. And again, when I jump onto this, I try and pick out little nuggets that apply to my life, and I think I can learn from it, and I think other people can learn from it. So just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory that I've picked up from these little snippets and the little that I've watched, Ntando Duma is trending because during her podcast, she then speaks about her preference in dating. So she was married before. I think she has an ex-partner. I'm not too sure about that, but I know that she has a child from her previous relationship, and then she now is married to this Boti Una Rams, and they have a beautiful child there as well. So in the interview, she speaks about how she would not date a man with a child. And that's her preference. Even though she, in her current relationship, went in there with a beautiful child, she said she'd never do that. And the only reason why she's with her partner currently is because she has a child, insinuating Uguti to us. This might not have been her intention, to insinuating to us, Uguti, the guy wouldn't have been good enough if she was not with child. And she then opened herself up to listen to him and then to, fall in love because he was able to step up. It just sounds wrong. It might not be her intentions, but it sounds wrong, and social media again is going up with this whole stepdad and saying if you're a stepdad, you're a simp, you this, you that. I watched this. I really did watch. She spoke about so many different things on the podcast. She spoke about how she's happily married, her beautiful family. But I think people couldn't shake off that part where she was insinuating Wuti. The only reason why she initially gave this guy a chance because she had a child, And again, here's something that people don't want to accept. A lot of single mothers don't want to accept. Your value has gone down if you have a child from your previous relationship. I know no one wants to hear it. No one is prepared to hear that, but your value has gone down. If I were to take two sisters, amazing, beautiful, smart, the one is childless and the other one has a child from that relationship, most men that I know would prefer the one who's childless, childless. Most men would prefer that. Why? Because they don't want to be dealing, they don't want to be dealing with one, baby daddy issues, if they may be. They also, from a financial point, don't want to be assisting someone that, and this sounds wrong, but it's biologically not their child. Here's the issue. What happens if I meet you, Sisi, you've got a 3-year-old, I assist you, I pay daycare, I pay grade, and I'm assisting because there's a deadbeat dad, and I do that up until age 12. And then all of a sudden, me and you decide to split up. This child that I've invested, my time, my energy, my love, financially, you name it, into, that child moves with you. So I've invested for the past 10 years, but there's no return to me, for me. There's no love, there's no fuzzy feeling, especially if we split up. So a lot of the guys are very, very sensitive. And a lot of the sisters, rightfully so, as Usisi Ntando Duma said, if she did not have a child, she would not want to be with a man with a child. And then here's the mind fuck. She with a child is saying she wouldn't date a guy with a child. And she says that's her preference. And that's where social media just ate her. And I love the fact that social media is consistent when a sister says this, because a very good friend of mine, who advocates Kumalo, said the same thing, or something similar. Uguti, he does not, or he'd prefer to not be with a woman with a child, and he doesn't look for women with kids and la 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 la. And he was speaking about the potential baggage that may come from that. Again, this is a preference, guys. This is a preference. Where people find it very, very, very touchy and tricky is if you have kids with other women. So you have kids, né? You have kids, but you don't want to be with someone who has kids. So that's where society goes wrong. Or society gets grumpy and angry. I was with my ex. We've got 3 beautiful sons with her. I understand she's going to have a challenge, going into the dating world, and finding a partner. I'm not saying that she's not amazing. Of course, she's amazing and she'll probably be with Barack Obama. What I'm trying to get to is that I know very, 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 very few men who are willing to say, oh, lady, in your late 30s with 3 kids, I'll assist you. I'll jump in. Because again, there's so many variables, there's so many dynamics. Not only are you there for her and need to love her, you need to also understand, she has 3 other priorities outside of you, bro. She's got 3 sons. So those 3, so you are going to be like, not even the side nigga, you're going to be like nigga number 4, You're going to be nigga number 4. And you need to understand and maneuver around all those challenges. Plus, at the same time, this ugly guy is going to be there all the time. This ugly guy is going to be chatting to your girl every 2 days. Yes, it's about the kids and the managing of schedules and things like that. But imagine there's this other guy who used to smash the crap out of your partner, now constantly chatting to her. It's as a guy, it's sticky, man. It's a very, very sticky thing. And I get guys that prefer that. Again, just to be clear, from what I've heard from society, where it gets sticky is the fact that when you have kids, you have made someone a single dad or a single mom, whatever the case is, and then you don't want to go there and date those people. That sounds like hypocrisy. That sounds like a crazy, crazy amount of hypocrisy. I, as a pencil, can't have, I personally, my personal belief, I don't have that preference anymore. Now that I've got kids, I understand the dynamics. For me, I don't have that preference. Do I? Am I lying? Because my current partner, she did not have a child. And it made life so much easier because I did not have to think about this other person. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. So I do have a preference, but it's not a deal breaker if you have a child. So I would date someone with a child. I would date someone with 2 kids. Ntando came across as if that's her deal breaker. If you have a child, I will not date you. Upra Kumalo, that is a deal breaker. If you have a child, I will not date you. I, as a person, am saying, yeah, I'd prefer someone without a child, but it's not a deal breaker if you have a child, because I have a child, or children rather, and I know how to maneuver. I hope you guys, I cleared that little part out. But again, society is going because Uputi Lona Unarams is getting slaughtered on social media. People are calling him a simp, all types of horrible stuff. Oh, beggar, you stepped up, you did all these things. Beggar mash. And the fact that I think they got married or lobola like after 6 months or something, people are like, yeah, she pressured him into. People are just saying all bullshit that we don't know. From the podcast, Ntando spoke highly of her husband. She said she's madly in love, but then in certain things, there's sometimes in a podcast when, conversation is flowing, and you're just having a nice conversation. She said things like she's fallen in love many, many, many times, and now social media is like that means many, many dicks. And again, now social media is linking the body count and this body as a simp. The fact, apparently this guy's from Limpopo. Guys from Limpopo, you guys can't shake that that cloud that has now been put on you. There's a social media cloud where they say, Limpopo guys come in and like save these hoes. I'm not calling Ntando a hoe. That's not what I'm saying. Please just be clear. I don't know Sisi. I'm not judging anyone. I hope them nothing but the best. I'm saying Limpopo guys is a stigma. There's that rumor, whatever, that cloud that's been put on Limpopo guys around doing these things. But if a chick was, in the streets, she can get married to a Limpopo guy. If a chick was like this, she can get married to. If it's a guy that transitioned into a woman, a Limpopo guy is gonna come. So there's that stereotype. But it's a deeper thing. It's a really, really deeper thing. And there's a lot of single women, single mothers, amazing, amazing queens who are struggling to get quality guys because those guys are scared of being called simps by society. And I know some women say, well, if they're scared, I don't need them anyway. Look, we humans. We are humans and we are honest. And it's like you, sister, if you were to hear an allegation, and I know this is a fucking wrong comparison. I'm just trying to tell you something that you don't know the truth, but you stay away from. if you're to hear Uguti, that guy over there used to beat up all his girlfriends, you also wouldn't go there and take that chance. So if you're a guy and you've heard Uguti, baby mamas have drama and what, and baby daddies are this and women, if you've heard that, you might not want to go there and take that risk. Why would you go and put yourself in that space? So you'd rather just say, you know what, it's cool. There's enough women that don't have kids. But at the same time, what do we do with all these amazing queens that do have kids? That unfortunately was with losers like me, that did all this crap. They didn't choose Wuti, Pence going to be a loser and do all these negative things. No, they thought they're going to be happy ever after. What do we do with those amazing women? They need to marry someone. They need to fall in love again. They need to believe in relationships all over again. So do we say, let's just discard those women? Those women become nothing, And then you've got this whole generation of single guys who are just using single moms just to smash. Single moms, they're desperate for love. Come in, smash them. It's creating a toxicity that we're having in society. We need to have these dialogues about single mothers and single fathers, understanding that the variables are different. Please, a single mother is not the same as a single father. A stepdad is not the same as a stepmom. What do I mean for those that don't understand? So I came into my current relationship with 3 kids, right? So let's now say the parenting plan. Parenting plan is maybe you see the kids on weekends. So whoever I'm dating, stepmom, right? Whoever I'm dating will only see those kids weekends. Weekends, braais, go watch rugby, have fun, play some sports. Weekends are fun. There's no real heavy things during weekends. So stepmom is seen as a fun mom, right? Now let's switch it. Real mom, she has to do the morning stuff. She has to do the afternoon stuff. She has to do the homework. She has to do the lunchbox. She has to really be a disciplinarian throughout the meat and potato of the week. Stepdad comes into that because generally the kids stay with the biological mom. Stepdad buys into that. So now he has to plant himself into that. The stepdad, generally speaking, if he's investing in a relationship, he will get to see the kids and have access to the kids more than the biological dad from a parenting plan. Because most parenting plans are 2 weekends in a month. So if there's a stepdad that steps in, he will see the child more than the biological dad. That means, again, more investment of time, no investment of financial resource, emotion, all these type of things. And a lot of guys say, do I want to buy into that? What's my ROI of buying into that? Because a lot of sisters don't also get to Guti. He's also now has to give more. So he's not just dating you. Because you're like, I don't need it. No, women love saying, I don't need, I've got my own money. Bullshit. Bullshit. Side note. One of the amazing things that Ntando said, which didn't sound like the truth, but let's take her at her word, where she was saying, no man owes her money. She's not entitled to men's money. I was like, yeah. It's amazing to hear women who aren't putting financial expectations on men, So that was a proper side note, but I wanted to just give a shout out to that. But with that being said, women aren't honest about the baggage that they will bring into a relationship if they have kids. Understand, it's not like back in the day when if you had a child, and now when we're in a relationship, it's just me and you, but and then you send a man every now and again. You live with this child. So if I come over to visit your place, I know that the child is here. So I have to come only when the child is sleeping, or if the child is, let's say, 10 or something, I need to come with my sweetie, make fun, fun things, go with the child. I need to bond with the child because if you're a single mom, you're not going to date a man who isn't good for your child, potentially, in the future. So there's all those dynamics. But it's fucking tough, man. It really, really is tough. And we're not having these conversations. And if anything, it's just a lot of angry people in social streets calling names. And I know so many guys who would be amazing, amazing dads and step up to being a stepdad. But because they don't want to be put in that box with that stigma, they'd rather not. They'd rather not. And you've got a lot of amazing queens who have kids from previous relationships, and now they're going to be single, or they're going to be doing a Ntando or jumping from this relationship to the next and never having anything stable because of that stigma that's been attached. So again, let's have these conversations. So please spread this video far and wide and just let me know and let other people know in the comments exactly what your thoughts are around this. How can we fix this? How can we fix this? In my opinion, as I said, honest conversations. Moms and dads need to be honest around what it is. If you come into my life, understand, you might come in at number 5, number 6, because I've got kids. You know, are you prepared for that? Do you know what that looks like? You know, if my kids are over, you can't just be cooking a little, you can't just make sushi, you know, whatever. Now it has to be, ukudla, you know, the house is going to be noisy, going to be dirty, it's going to be, are you prepared for that? Now, but at the same time, you can't just be smashing this woman like in the lounge because there's kids. You're busy hitting a doggy on the couch. The kid's coming, Mom, what's happening? You know, all these kids, I've got 3 boys with my ex. Maybe they're grumpy. They're like, hey, this ain't my daddy. You ain't my daddy. The motherfucker, you ain't my daddy. So now you have to deal with all those variables, you know. So again, in the comments, let's just have these conversations. You know, let's start something. I want to be very, very, very clear. I'm not throwing shade on Ntando Duma or Uputi Una Rams or their beautiful, beautiful kids or their family. I don't know any of them. And I'm done with throwing shade on people, but on my hate. If anyway, Ntando guys, please like, subscribe, do those amazing things, notification bells. But anyway, have yourselves a fantastic day. I'm out.